The U.S. federal government is getting back to work after Republicans and Democrats agreed on a budget deal. The U.S. Treasury's borrowing facility has now been extended until February the 7th in an attempt to give a fiercely divided Congress time to reach a long-term deal. Our White House correspondent Patty Culhane reports on what's next.
There were more than a few photo ops to mark the reopening of the federal government. As the streets of Washington, D.C. filled up again with workers, tourist spots reopened, and federal money started flowing again. Perhaps no one captured the emotions of the moment more than Abigail Vogt.
I'm sad. Happy.
She's terminally ill. Her father counts on his veterans benefits to pay for her care.
You hear certain people talk about poll numbers, and it's about who's losing more.
President Barack Obama echoed the country's record level of anger.
There are no winners here. These last few weeks have inflicted completely unnecessary damage on our economy.
And it's not over. Republicans and Democrats have given themselves just a couple of months to come up with a long-term budget deal. Even the negotiators don't sound all that optimistic.
Some people ask why this time will be different, and what I would say is not talking guarantees failure. Talking doesn't guarantee success, but if you don't get together, obviously you can't move forward.
Getting a budget deal would require lawmakers to have the political courage to go against what their constituents want. That is why federal workers like Doug Parker are still worried.
I think a lot of people are concerned. I hope that the lessons are not lost on the people who brought the furlough or the shutdown on, that they don't want to go through that again. That's what we would like to think, but common sense doesn't seem to be there doesn't seem to be a deep reservoir of it.
I'll go my party.
So for now, the country has found some reason to celebrate, at least for now. Patty Culhane, Al Jazeera, Washington.
Let's get some insight now from former Republican Senator Dick Lugar, who's joining us out of Washington. Very good to have you with us on the Al Jazeera NewsHour, Senator. So let me ask you this, because some of the polls are pointing to the Republicans having faulted the most when it came to this debt ceiling issue and the hard stand that they took. I mean, how damaging do you think this is for the Republican Party?
It could be damaging with the elections coming up in 2014. Almost everybody is doing polling now, particularly on the Senate seats that are up. A third of the Senate will be elected next time, and those margins in which Republicans hope to defeat Democratic incumbents appear to have narrowed or to have disappeared. Likewise, even in the House, although most of the Republican seats are in so-called safe districts, that is, areas that have always elected a Republican, and Democrats then have their own safe districts. Still, there could be crossovers here, and for the moment, all the polling indicates that Republicans have been held most responsible for the delay.
Well, Senator, you know, within the party as well itself, there seems to be tensions. I mean, how much trouble is there within the Republican ranks?
There's great difficulty for Speaker John Boehner in the House of Representatives because he does really not have any control of his entire caucus. Essentially, he has tried to either bow or humor the so-called Tea Party Republicans, the most conservative Republicans, so that they would not lead to his overthrow as Speaker. They seem to be happy with him. But he's not a very happy man because it's apparent even though Republicans have a majority in the House, they really are not able to bring about any control. In other words, 144 Republicans voted against the budget finally. All the Democrats in the House voted for it, and only 80-some Republicans voted for it. Thus, there is a split there, and that won't go away.
So what is it that you think they should have done differently? Republican Lugar, Senator Lugar, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I'm asking what you think they should have done differently.
Well, the Republicans, by making a cause of trying to take all the money out of Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act that the President sponsored, came up against something they were not going to be able to achieve legislatively. They felt that by holding up the government for this period of time, that somehow the president would give ground, or the Democrats in the Senate would give ground, but the Democrats did not. They saw, at least politically, that they felt Republicans would be held responsible for the delays. So as a result, the goal of somehow defunding Obamacare was not met, and there are very few possibilities it would be met again, even if there is a delay as negotiations proceed toward the next budget.
And the president, in his speech, Senator Lugar, says that he's willing to listen to anybody going forward. Are you confident that you will see that from President Barack Obama, and also seeing the political bickering and the infighting, seeing the infighting that happened over the past couple of weeks? Is this an indication of how things will be conducted in Washington over the next couple of weeks and months?
Well, the president has not been very forthcoming. He felt that he had at least the high ground, that by taking the position that surely no one would shut down our government or make it impossible for the Treasury to borrow money, and ultimately he was correct, but the cost of this, of course, was 16 days of shutdown, and as a result, the president perhaps may be in a more negotiating mood, so to speak, as the next round of all of this continues, because now a bipartisan group in Congress is going to try to fashion a new budget. And likewise, the circumstances that would lead to the debt ceiling being raised, hopefully, for quite a period of time, maybe through the election period of 2014, so this would not come up again in the partisan struggles then.
All right, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much. That's the former Senator Dick Lugar speaking to us from Washington. Still to come on the